Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Samantha back here with another little video. Hope you're all doing really well and life's treating you very well indeed. How are we all? Not too bad here. We're having a decent week. Weather's been a bit grim, but you know, it is what it is. It's January, I suppose. So with that in mind, I like to make pretty things just to brighten my day up. And I thought today we would have a look at these little beaded beads. Now I've changed my surface, the background surface today, because we're going to be doing a little bit of close work as far as it's like bead weaving, very basic bead weaving, because I'm not that good at it, but I am learning. So I've changed the background, so I hope that you can see things a little better with a blue background. So here's our little beaded beads. So I thought we'd make these little earrings. I've made them in silver here, so aren't they sweet? And then I've made these little pretty gold ones as well. So there we are. Okay, so let's go through a list of materials that we need. I've been making these multicolored, different colored ones for a different project that I'm thinking, you know, I'm kind of coming up with, all sort of tone on tone, but we're going to make the same color ones today. So I hope the surface is okay. If it's not, then I'll find out when I do the editing and I will have to re-record, which is fine because I like doing the recording, it's fun. So we're going to need today, you are going to need some seed beads. So I'm using 11/0 seed beads here. You're going to need some 8/0 or indeed any type of bead to go on the bottom of the dangly bits. So here I've used 3mm sparkles. These ones here are little dyed jade and they're I think they're 3mm as well. So anything that's sort of small enough to fit on the bottom of the dangle is fine. So, but I'm using same colour beads today. So 11/0s and a bead for the dangles. So that's up to you, whichever you want. Now you're going to need some bead caps. So you can buy these in bulk or just whatever you fancy. And for these guys, I like to use these little flower shaped ones. I just think they sit on top. These beads are sort of rondelle shaped. Where did I put them now? They're rondelle shaped. All right, so when you've made them, they're like a little rondelle. So these bead caps fit quite sweetly on the top, like so. So whatever bead caps, as long as, you know, they fit on top. Each of these beads measures, let's have a look, approximately a centimetre across. So, you know, just choose your accessories accordingly, that kind of thing. So bead caps, what else are we going to need? We're going to need some beading thread. So I'm using 1G. I like 1G because it's got a little bit of give in it and it works really nicely. So I'm using 1G, but anything as long as it's not too thick. You're going to need a beading needle. I'm using a size 10, as you can see. This guy's seen some action. So a size 10 beading needle. What else are you going to need? Just range of tools, whichever you need. And I'm using 18 gauge, 1mm silver plated copper wire, just to make the little sort of center bow tie shaped thing. You know what I mean? To go through the center of the bead. What else? I think, oh no, you're going to need some of these guys, little head pins. And I think that is it. All right, so I'll clear the table away. Hopefully this surface will be fine and we'll go ahead and make some of these cute little beads. So I'll see you in a few seconds. Right, well, I'm still not sure about this surface, so I'm going to go with a little piece of foam and hope for the best because this is a little bit close up. With that in mind, actually, ignore my ugly hands, and there's a bit of close-up work to be done, and my hands aren't the prettiest. So if you don't like ugly hands, then that's fine. You'll have to go and watch somebody else with prettier hands than me. So grab yourself a coffee, let's sit down together and make something pretty. So I'm just going to have a slurp. Delicious. Right, so grab yourself a drink. Whatever the time of day it is determines the kind of drink that you have, I guess. So let's get going. So what we want to do is to pull out some of our 11 seed beads. Okay, so try and get, if you can, a really good brand, because we want some consistency in the size. Some of the sort of generic seed beads are really not very good in terms of consistency, are they? Some of them are very long and flat and funny shapes and things like that. So I try and buy the best that I can afford. So in actual fact, I think these are Miyuki. Very, very nice colour. I can't remember the name of the colour, but they're just a nice turquoise. Right, so let's get going. So what I'll do probably is, when I'm editing, I'll pull in quite close so that you can see what I'm doing. So what we want to do is to make this little cute rondelle shaped bead in the centre. All right, so first thing we need to do is to take 4 of our seed beads and pop them on the needle, like so. And I'm hoping that this is okay and you can see what I'm doing. You want to tie a knot like so, and then tie a knot again. So what we want basically is for these beads to jump themselves together in a set of 4, like so. Give it a good tug. So let me move these out of the way so we can focus. Problem with these close-up type of videos is it's very difficult to get focus. So what we want to do is to bring our needle just up through a bead so that it's coming out of one of the 4 beads, like so. All right, so take a bead and pop it through the first bead. So this second round should I say, takes 4 beads. You just basically want to pop a bead in between each of the other 4. Second bead through, tug, third bead in between these 2, like so. There we go. And the final one in between these 2 here. So I'll show you what that looks like when we've done that. There we go. So tug it tight, and that's the shape that we're looking for. All right, so when you've done that, you need to just pop it through the start bead here. So we need to come back to the beginning. Just going to get rid of that guy there. There we go. All right, so that's our second round done, so that we have our thread coming out of this first bead here, because this is going to be the start of our third round. Okay. Righty-ho, so we've got round 1, round 2, round 3 next. So we want to put 2 beads in between each of the corners. So take 1 and then, oops, and then 2. So 2 beads, place your needle through the corner and through. Okay, so you want to do that 4 times. So 1 and 2 through this corner here. You see? So through there and pull. I am just going to cut off this little section here because we don't need that anymore, and it's getting in the way of what we're doing. So can you see here? This is the next corner. So we want to take 2 more seed beads, 1 and 2. I hope this surface is okay and that you can see all right. So through the corner here and through, and then we've got 1 more corner to do, which is this bead here. So take 1 and 2 through this bead here. like so. So this is what we have. You see the shape of that? The next thing we want to do is to go up through this end bead here to make this the start of our next row. All right. So that's 1, 2, 3. The fourth row takes 8 beads. So what we want to be doing is placing a bead in between each of the other beads. Okay, so I'll show you what I mean. First bead in this corner here. Oops. In this corner here, like so. And through, and then the next bead goes in between these two here, this one and this one, so up through. That's number 2. Next bead goes in between these two here, so number 3. Like so, give it a tug. The next one in between these two. That's number 4. The next one in between these two here, because this is one of our corners. Like so. The next one in between these two. And through. Next one in between these two, which is another corner, like so. And then the last one in between this bead and this bead here, these two beads, because this bead here will be the start of our next round. So the next bead goes in this space here. So that's number 8. So through that bead and then back up for the start of the next round. So you can see it looks a little bit like a star, doesn't it? It's quite pretty on its own. All right, so that's row 4. Row 5 is exactly the same. You put a bead in between each of the spaces. That's 8 beads. So there we are, 1 bead and pull. So that's number 1, number 2, every single time in between the spaces, number 3, again in between the space, number 4, work your way around with a bead in between each of the spaces, number 5, bit thin that one, number 6, number 7, and here's the last space here, as you can see, and that's number 8. So through that and then through the next bead to bring it out to start the next round. All right, so this is what we have at the moment. The next round we're going to start to pull tight. All right, so I don't know if you can see at this angle, I'm starting to pull tight so that we're making a little bowl, essentially. Not too tight that you snap your beading thread, but just give it a little tug, and as you can see we're starting to make a little bowl shape. All right, so exactly the same principle. 1 bead, so that's 8 beads for this round, 1 bead in between each of the previous row. That's 2, and 3. So I hope you can see all this through my fat fingers, and 4. So each time you put a bead on this time, just give it a little tug. So as you can see, we're making a little bowl shape. Okay, so that's number 4. Number 5. Popping a little bead in between each time. Number 6. Number 7. And the last one, number 8, which will be in here and then back up to the top. All right, so as you can see here, we have a little bowl shape. That's exactly what we're looking for. You see that? So we're literally making a little cup, a little bowl. Right, so that's the last of the 8 beads. We then want to start decreasing, all right? So the next round just takes 4 beads. But when we pop the bead in, see if I can get this in focus for you. When we pop this bead in, we're going to be going through 2 beads, like so. Okay, can you see that? So when we pop these 4 beads in, that's number 1, we go through 2 beads, and again just give it a little tug. The next bead in this space here, put through 2 beads, like so. Give it a little tug. You see that's starting to close the little cup in. So do it again. That's a bit thin, that one. Through 2 beads, like so. And tug. And then the last one, in that space, put through these last 2 beads, which is hidden a little bit there. Okay, through those last 2 beads. And through. Give everything a bit of a tug. And then come back up through this bead here, because that takes us to the start of the next round. Okay, so as you can see here, we're closing that little cup up. All right, so the next thing we need to do is just fill these spaces with 1 bead. So we take a bead through this bead here. So when you do it yourself, you'll notice that you have 4 beads on top. So we're just literally filling those gaps. Give it a tug. So that's 1. And then through this one here, that's 2. And then this one here, that's 3. And then this last one, which is this one here, which is a little bit hidden, so slightly fiddly, but you'll get there. And that's the last one. And then 4, pull that into place. Okay, so as you can see here, we've got a little rondelle shaped bead. How cute is that? So the only thing you need to do now is just to give it a bit of a tug. You'll have a little bit of a gap here, which is what we want, because we want to fit, excuse me, we want to fit some wire through there. So all you need to do is to finish that off, come underneath a piece of the thread and just make a knot. And there we are, there's our little bead. So I'm going to just get the scissors, cut that off there. That's all we need for now. So here's our little rondelle shaped bead. How cute are those? They're really sweet, aren't they? So you can do all sorts of things with these guys, but today I'm going to be making these little earrings. All right, so let's get rid of these. Hopefully you followed that okay. I don't usually do bead weaving things because it's so difficult to get right close in. So hopefully you managed to follow that all right. Right, so let's construct one of these earrings, shall we? What we need to do is bring in our piece of wire. So using obviously your cutters, just cut a piece off. And I'm going to use the second step of my plier to make a little loop. So round and about, just make a little loop. Doesn't have to be hugely perfect, which is good. All right, so we want to come in with our excuse me, our little bead caps. So here we go. So you pop your bead cap on like so. Yep, and then pop our little bead on, and as you can see, the little gaps in between the top and the bottom of these little rondelle shaped beaded beads is perfect for putting 18 gauge wire through like so. And as you can see, that sits quite nicely on there like so. And then we want to pop the other bead cap on so it sits like so. Isn't that sweet? That looks really, really pretty, I think. And silver and turquoise, I think, go really, really well together. So we want to make another loop on the other side in the same direction, if you like. So just bend that guy over relatively tight because we don't want everything sort of jiggling around, do we? Chop about here and maybe a little bit less than that. No, we'll see how we go on. And come in with your plier and make, yep, it was too much. I thought it was. So if that happens, literally just chop a bit off. It's easy to rectify. Come back in. Just have to do this off camera so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. There we go, brilliant. Right, so let's have a look at these dangles. So what we're going to do with this, take a couple of those and we'll take some of these. Super, super easy. I don't know why these always come bent. Do they come bent when you get these? Give it a bit of a straighten. I think I'll put, yeah, 2 at the bottom. Or maybe 3. Again, all about your design choices here. So you can do whatever you like. So, I don't know. There we go. Wire wrap loop. Super, super simple. Super simple. Like so. Make as many of these little dangles as you like. Or even just the one, or different colours, whatever you want to do. You could make, you know, a big cluster of them if you wanted to, or different amount of beads on each one. It's entirely up to you. So I'll come back in a second when we've got some more of these made and we'll construct it. Okay, so I'll be back in a few. And we're back. You didn't really want to see me doing that, did you? Very, very boring. So I've made 3 of these guys in different lengths. 2, you know, shorter ones and 1 longer one. So we'll take our little pliers and we'll literally just very gently open up the bottom and then put a small one on. I can see what I'm doing, and then the longer one in the center, and then one of the shorter ones on the other side. Not working for me today. There we go. Open that up a little bit, Sammy. There we are. And then very, very gently just close that up. I really like this design. These little beaded beads are really cute and you can use them for all sorts of little different things. There we go. And I'm just using one of these little ear hook things. I think they're really good, the closed ones, for some things. So you just open up the top. There it is. Open up the top and put this guy on and close up nice and securely. There we go. Good. So there we are. That, I mean, you know, how beautiful are those? They're so dangly and cute and perfect colours together, I think. So go ahead and have a go at these. I hope you enjoy making them. They are really fun. And like I say, you can use these little beads for all sorts of things. I'm actually going to be making a bracelet with these ones. You just use them exactly as the same as you would with a rondelle bead, you know, like a semi-precious rondelle or whatever, glass rondelles, you know. So go ahead and have a lot of fun making these and let me know how you get along in the comments. I do like to hear from you guys, and it's absolutely lovely to have you here as always. Have fun. All right, so I'll see you in my next video. Bye.